8:30. So that's that. Of course, like Dave said, they're gonna keep us in the loop. Once we get stuff, we'll shoot it out to you. 8:31. Let's bring our education reporter Adriana Cotero from the KUAM news team onto the show. Good morning, Adriana.
Good morning. Happy Easter, guys.
Half a day.
Great in your bright colors.
Thank you. I just wanted
You're
to.
welcome.
I saw that yesterday you were out picking up trash at a beach.
Oh, saw that.
Yeah. Where was that?
Just trying to do a good deed on Easter. This is kind of what like growing up, I'd always go to Easter Mass with my family, and then afterwards we usually go donate something to a charity. But trying to do social distancing responsibly, right? So not be around too many people. So I just had that was in Inarahan, like a
Bear Rock
down there. So I had can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I had one of my friends lived down there, and he was there like last weekend and had posted about it, and I was like, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe all the garbage. So I was like, if I have free time this weekend, I'll go down there and pick up a little bit if I can. But yeah, there was a lot of marine debris down there.
So yeah, I just wanted to shout you out for that. Good job.
Thanks. Thank you.
I mean, was that the extent of your whole Easter, or did you do anything Eastery?
I mean, I ate some mangoes.
I saw that too.
If you want to know at any given time what Adriana is doing, please follow her on Instagram because obviously Chris is checking it out every single minute of every
Well,
day.
dude, she took the mangoes. Joan brought in the only 10 ripe mangoes in Guam.
No one else was there.
I was gonna.
And
Okay.
I was like, oh, can I
I
take
took
these?
some.
She was like,
Yeah.
I brought it in. I was like, okay, thank you.
Yep.
Mangoes are my favorite fruit of
Oh,
all time.
well, yeah.
I got on air, so if anyone has any, feel free to donate.
Yeah, donate them to me, and then I'll make sure they get to who they got to get to.
Leave it outside the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Adriana, we brought you on to discuss some education bills that are, I think they're on the agenda for session. And this is relative to something that needs to be done to allow students to graduate. Am I right in saying that?
You are right. So, yes, there's two bills. There's Bill 332-35, and this one was exempt the seniors, so all 12th grade students, from the service learning hours that's needed to graduate, which is 25 hours per student. So and that started when they first went into school, right? Like since the beginning of high school. So that exempts them from reaching those 75 hours, which is a requirement. And then also Bill 339-35, which would also exempt from the entire school year, the 2019-2020 school year, the minimum requirement of 900 instructional hours for the Guam Department of Education. So both of these bills are in order for them to continue with, they already have the school closures, but in order for students to, graduate, so these seniors can graduate. And it was put into law, so they do need to change that in order to allow it. And I think that I was reading that the Guam Education Board had sent a letter in support because two Vice Speaker and Chair of the Committee of Education, Selena Nelson, supporting it, and I think they said that they typically have about 2,000 students who graduate a year.
Right, and they're all hanging in limbo. So this is something that definitely needs to get done, right?
Yeah, yeah, of course. If they, especially, these poor students already, they're not getting a ceremony, and then they might not get a diploma because of this one requirement. So it is something that needs to be done.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And what else are you working on for us today? Or where are we with the Department of Corrections? I had a family member who was released Friday, I think, and they put an ankle monitor on him, sent him home, and that's kind of happening right now, right?
Yeah. So those are those electronic monitoring devices that they can use, but yeah, they let a lot of the pretrial detainees. I believe we reported that on Friday. I think Sabrina, you had done that story right from
based on the interview with the Lieutenant Governor.
Lieutenant Governor, yeah. But I did see. So I actually just had also messaged Anton this morning for an update. I haven't received an answer yet, but wondering because hearing that maybe CDC had visited DOC, so I wanted to get an update. So once I have some more on that, of course there'll be a story. But wondering where they are even in containing any sort of outbreak in the prison.
Right. That's what the lieutenant governor had mentioned when we spoke with him last week, Friday, that the CDC had paid a visit over at the Department of Corrections. I'm not sure what day last week, but I know that when you had reported that there was a recruit that had tested positive for COVID, and the LT on Friday mentioned that the CDC was there, and I guess they were trying to make sure that the Bureau of Prisons, all the guidelines that they set forth on how to mitigate an outbreak of COVID wouldn't take place there. So it's actually something that we really do need to follow up on today.
Like whenever we mentioned that the recruit, they were telling us all the efforts that they were doing to try and contain it, but they never mentioned that the CDC was there. So, and you would think that that's almost the first thing that they would want to mention, be like, oh, we brought the CDC here, that's how we're trying to contain it.
It makes me wonder what the CDC had to say, and if it was, if they got chewed out.
Yep, I mean, hopefully we'll find out those answers today. Because I was very surprised that wasn't the first thing that they said.
Right, Adriana, I just sent you a recording on your WhatsApp. Now this is someone from the inside who had called for us Friday when we were off the air, and I know Bree heard it. Figure out if we could play it on the air, but I sent it over to you to kind of find out what the voices on the inside are saying, because we can talk to the officials all day, whether or not we're getting the straight story or the info that they want to present out to the public remains to be seen. So.
And just for clarification for people who are just joining in on this conversation, the release of pretrial detainees, these are for non-violent offenders, and these are people that are accused of a crime. They haven't been gone through trial yet. They're just accused of a crime. So just so we're clear on that, we're not just releasing convicted criminals out into the community.
Right. Oh, yeah. And my relative was framed anyway, so.
Oh, my God. But other than that, today I also will be have an interview. I had mentioned it briefly about it, but with a few of the CNMI representatives in the minority there that have they've kind of come out public after all these cuts have been made, and they had put in an open government request months back, and they received some results back, and a lot of information will be coming out of that, but just on some money that's missing for the most part, and they'll be explaining it. It's just a big coverage, so it's going to be a longer interview for them explaining it, since it's a unique situation in the cinema. Yeah,
and I know you have been looking into this for a couple of weeks now, and so I think people who live in the CNMI, this is an important interview that everybody should watch, and even if you live on Guam, it's really an interesting situation that's developing over there in light of all the furloughs and the way that people have been impacted there, and how the government is trying to reduce revenues in half.
Comparing CNMI with Guam, where we somebody asked the governor last week, hey, we're going to do it. Oh, it's me. We're going to do any cost cutting measures. And she said, no, we're going to stay at, and that, like I told minority leader, I think they're just trying to hold everything down until we get that $130 million payday from the feds. So.
Right. Well, yeah, with this one coverage, which as I really do encourage everyone to tune into this, it'll be about today at around 11. But there's this fund that's supposed to have millions of dollars in there, and no one knows where these millions of dollars are as of right now. And I've reached out to the office of the governor and the CNMI, and they have yet to get me any real information or even respond very much to an interview. But it's okay. We'll keep trying.
Yeah, keep trying. Yeah, we can keep trying. That's one thing we do really good.
Yeah, we'll keep trying. But so the minority members have definitely been speaking out about it, and they'll explain it all from start to finish. But it's money that could have came in. It's supposed to come in to aid for situations.
Right, Adriana, I want to switch gears here. Where's the chief of the Guam Police Department? Have you heard anything from him?
I have not, actually. I have, I've spoken with Sergeant Tapao, and I have asked and requested for an interview, but he says that the chief is very busy right now, and he also has requested that I go through him first before, because sometimes when I message Tapao and I don't always hear something back, I'll just call the chief and see if I can get something from him, but he has asked me to just go through him as far as any matters. And he's been, Sergeant Tapao always answers, so he's been answering everything for the most part. But I have not heard from the chief. I have asked for a few interviews, so seeing if he would like to go on, so we can update from the chief of our.
Right. I mean, I know he's busy, right? There's the big command center that he's involved with, so maybe we could get Sergeant Tapao on You talk about the curfew and, how people are behaving because people are out there driving and dying on the roads.
Yeah.
We should be staying home.
Mm-hmm.
And I know in the last interview that we did with up to Pow, he was mentioning how they're seeing people who are speeding and picking up their speed, and that's probably another reason why these road closure / not checkpoints are a good idea. Not only to catch people that are speeding, but to tell people that you really should stay home.
There was a video that we had from over the weekend. It was that high-speed motorcycle.
Yeah, that was in Barragata.
Yeah.
And that was...
I know that went around everybody's WhatsApp because I started getting it back after it was on our chat.
Mm-hmm. And we know who sent that video, and we know it happened just that night that we got it. So.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I think even when Sergeant Capel had said last week that they were clocking people at 90 miles per hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He said, quote, unquote, freaking fast.
Yeah. So there's the conversion, 90 miles an hour. All right, Adriana, can you tell us what are you trying to track down today?
So I definitely want to get an update with DOC on if CDC did visit and any and what the results were from that. I think that's very important. So that'll be the most part. And then I do have the interview with the representatives of the CNMI, and then as well, we'll see what happens on session with these education bills. Because that's something, if they do pass them or not, that's measures that we need to see in order for graduating students to see how they move forward here.
Okay.
Okay, Adriana.
Thanks a lot,
thank
Adriana.
You. Wash your sticky mango hands.
And we'll see you on the news tonight. You're anchoring tonight, so
yes, I
we'll
will
see you then.
there. I'll be in today.
Okay.
Also, the grab and go programs that continues back up today, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I actually had already messaged Issa. She said she has a meeting at 8:30 and she's going to get back to me. But I was just wondering an updated number on how many grab and go meals and how many to date have been served.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Adriana.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.
Okay. Bye. Adriana Cotero from the KUAM news team. We're going to take a quick break and coming back with a deep dive into the day's COVID-19 news with Sabrina Salas-Matanani. This is Containing COVID. Good morning. Hey, shout out to all of our viewers now on KUAM TV 11. Remember, we're taking the show to our TV broadcast on KUAM TV 11. That's going to be from 8 a.m.